What you'll see coming out in early May is actual product refreshes to a number of our products.
Hey guys, it's Sebastian from AskSebby, and today we are going to look at my predictions for American Express cards, given that they're looking to update them and make them more useful for people who aren't currently traveling, given what's going on. For this video, we're going to look at firstly what they said in their quarterly earnings report, and then some predictions based off what they said. Number two, we're going to look at what other countries did, and then number three, what we're likely to see based off those other countries. For that final part, I'm hoping that we're right because I think it can get pretty interesting. One big favor before we dive into all of this, as usual, is to give this a thumbs up. It really does help with the channel just because it helps with discovery. And if you are someone that really likes the channel, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. Starting off with number one, the quarterly earnings report, let's dive into each of these points and my predictions.
So if you look at our Platinum card, where you have fine hotels and resorts and you have Uber credits and you have other travel benefits and lounges and so forth, you will see other enhancements there.
My guess, and you can kind of see this too when we look at the other countries, is that it's mostly going to focus on the Platinum cards. I do see a potential change for the Delta Reserve card, which we'll talk about in about 1 to 2 minutes, but I don't really see anything for the Gold cards just because a lot of the benefits and the reason people have the card is not affected. So most people have that card for US supermarkets as well as for restaurants, and people are still going out and ordering food and either doing takeout or doing delivery. And then number two, supermarkets are probably one of the biggest categories right now. I hope I'm wrong, but my understanding is that the Gold card is more of a money loser. It's meant to bring people into the platform versus being something that they actually make a lot of money from. To put it into contrast, the median income for the Departures magazine is about $270,000 per year. This is the magazine that all the Platinum cards and Centurion card holders have, and since they're using the median instead of the average, it actually pulls it down a bit more. It makes it a bit more reasonable. Interestingly enough, the average age is 51, with 54% working in professional or managerial roles, and then 25% are CEOs, or owners or partners. We're going to see this in the UK cards when we talk about the interchange fees, and it's going to get pretty interesting, but you're going to see why they really want to focus on keeping the Platinum card holders happy.
From wireless.
For this one, I'm not expecting any extra multipliers or anything. It's probably going to be an American Express offer, so the ones you see when you log in and you scroll to the bottom. I'm probably going to be wrong about a few of these, but this doesn't seem like a hot take.
To streaming.
So this is going to be the one where I expect a credit because there's a lot of companies out there trying to get market share and grow their product, and they're probably willing to give a credit at a substantial discount or maybe for free. For music, Tidal is the obvious pick, so this is the service that's owned by Jay-Z. The reason for this is because they're more focused on higher ends given the perception that I have of them, and then also they are one of the few services that audiophiles really like, so people who have $1,000 headphones, just because they pretty much have the 4K of music without getting too much into it. The other fact too is that Tidal isn't doing that well compared to Spotify, and Spotify doesn't really need to do any marketing, so they don't have incentive to give credits to get more users because people already use it. For video, I see Quibi being the right pick. I'm probably mispronouncing this, but this is the obvious pick to me given that they raised a ton of money and they're probably looking to burn some of it in order to actually get traction. This is a service that raised $1.75 billion, and they're trying to be the bite-sized YouTube focused on 6-minute videos. Maybe a credit or a long-term trial, that way they can pump up their daily active user number.
We're also adding a range of limited time offers, credits, and rewards on stay-at-home services, such as wireless, streaming, grocery and food delivery.
So the biggest player here is Instacart, and given the fact that they're owned by Amazon and they're very busy already and they're not really taking as many orders, that to me means that it's probably going to be an American Express offer rather than some multiplier.
Food delivery.
So American Express already works with Uber Eats for the Platinum card, and the most likely partner to work with in addition to this, to me at least, is Caviar, just because Caviar focuses more on high-end restaurants and they're not really directly competing with Uber Eats. DoorDash already works with Chase, and Postmates has worked with Capital One in the past, so Caviar seems like the best fit, and also maybe the Uber Eats pass along with a Caviar credit. I could be crazy and I hope this happens, but I feel like Caviar really fits with American Express marketing.
as well as business essentials like wireless, office equipment, and shipping for our small business customers.
I think this is just going to be American Express offers. I don't see them doing anything too much with the Platinum Business Card just because they don't want to eat into the market share of the Gold Business Card. Similar to the personal side, the Gold Business Card is the earner of the bunch, while the Platinum Business is more kind of the everything else card and status card and other random stuff card.
To maybe some other types of travel credits which can be used in the future over a time period.
So for me, this is where the green card, the gold card, and the platinum card will get extensions, just because of that travel credit and the fact that a lot of people are probably not traveling this year. My guess is that it's going to be a 3 or 6 month extension. I don't see them extending it until the end of next year just because it might get too complicated for them and they don't really need to do that. 3 to 6 months seems pretty reasonable for them. The other potential change that I think might happen for their Delta Reserve card, and this is probably on the unlikely end, is that they might give you a one-time credit for something like $200 or $250 that you can use for 2021. The rationale for this is that the Delta Reserve card isn't really too competitive as an everyday card. Its main point is going to be lounge access, that companion certificate, as well as the fact that it can help you earn status for Delta. So all three of those benefits are pretty irrelevant right now, so 90-something% value of the card is not really there. And as a reminder, for the Platinum card, you get Saks credits, you get Uber credits, / Uber Eats credits, you also get hotel status, just a lot of things that aren't related to flying. To me, it makes sense for them to give you a one-time credit just to make sure that you fly again and to entice you to keep flying Delta. Of all of my predictions, I think this is going to be the hottest take because oftentimes American Express doesn't just give you credits. So now that we're done with the quarterly earnings, let's look into what other countries did and why I'm pretty confident that a lot of these benefits will relate more to the Platinum cards rather than the other cards. The first one of which is going to be the UK, which is offering double points for the Platinum card and the Centurion card. This is going to be until July 20th, 2020. To put it into perspective, you're getting 2 airline points per quid, 4 Hilton points per quid, or 3 Bonvoy points per quid. For the 97% of you watching who are in the US, you're looking at that and thinking, that's not that competitive. Why are people getting excited about that? And then look at how the bloggers who are focused on the UK space are saying that this is actually probably the most valuable card in your pocket. The reason for this is due to the interchange fees. So the UK has it capped at 0.3%. This means that for each swipe, American Express only earns 0.3% of your transaction. Compare this to the US and American Express makes about 2%. 2% versus 0.3%, that's a pretty big difference. And that's actually the reason why we have such great rewards and such competitive credit cards in the US compared to Europe and a lot of other countries. You'll also notice that the more you spend, the more American Express makes in the US. So that's why they're really focused on the Platinum card holders because average spending is likely higher. The funny thing too is that this isn't only for credit cards. If we look at other things such as investing apps, this is pretty consistent as well. So the fact that we're actually getting a lot of free stocks and stuff like that and no commission trading is a pretty big deal. On that tangent, if you are looking to try out a new brokerage, I'd look into something like Webull, where you can get 2 free stocks by putting $100 to try out their platform. SIPC insured up to $500,000 and given the current environment, probably the best way and easiest way to support the channel. Driving up north to Canada, we have a pretty interesting proposition because they're offering double points, but they're also increasing the rate that you're going to redeem those points for cash back. So normally you're earning 3x MR points back per dollar for dining, 2x MR points for travel, and then 1x for other. With the double points promotion, it's 6, 4, and 2 respectively. The other interesting thing they're doing is increasing the value of you redeeming those points for cash back. So they recently updated it so you're getting $10 back per 1,000 points you're spending, so that's 1 cent per point, and now they're doubling that to $20. So effectively 2 cents per point. When you factor in both of these promotions, the double points and also the fact that you're getting double cash back, this means that you're getting 12% cash back for dining, 8% cash back for travel, and 4% cash back for everything else. I've been looking into a lot of other cards out there recently in Canada, in the US, and other countries, and this makes it the most competitive card in Canada at the moment. Even in the US, outside of intro bonuses, there's nothing that's going to earn you 12% cash back on dining. Heading over to India, they are also offering double points until July 20th, 2020. Their MR points are a bit different, but you're going to get 5 MR points per 100 rupees, which is about $1, and you're going to get 15 MR points per 100 rupees when you spend abroad or if you do online spending. Their multipliers are a bit different, and that's not the only thing that's different. Not going to focus too much on the multipliers because I don't think you guys care too much. They also have a very interesting concierge program. So they market this as Do Anything Platinum Concierge. Not sure about you guys, but when I think do anything, I think very inappropriate things. Looking into the details, they're talking about sourcing goods and services, personal arrangements, organizing events, and also gift and flower delivery. From my understanding, they don't really do this in the US, not from my experience at least. It feels more consistent with what they get with the Centurion card. You do typically have to pay for these benefits, but pretty good if you do need them. Another really cool benefit with this card is that you get complimentary upgrades from select business class seats to first class with Etihad. My guess is that it's going to be J fare, so full price fares rather than the discounted ones, but still a pretty cool perk. Etihad first is definitely a cool experience. Heading down to Australia, we have double points for Platinum and Centurion cards for the next 3 months. They're also going to be extending travel credits for the Qantas Explorer and Ultimate card until the end of the year if it's expiring soon or if it already expired. I'm doing a lot of tangents, but another really cool tangent is that they have a Qantas Ultimate card where you get a $450 credit and the annual fee is only $450 as well, or Australian dollars. So pretty much a break even and you get the perks of the card. Delta, please give us a $450 credit. This means that everyday spending is increasing from 2.25 to 4.5 points per dollar spent. Cash out is also doubling, so normally you get 5 Australian dollars for 1,000 of these Australian MR points, so 0.5 cents per point. Until July 20th, they're doubling this to $10, so 1 cent per point. So we went through 4 different countries, and there's some very obvious trends that I'm expecting in the US as well. Of these and of the other countries that we're likely to see do similar promotions, I would focus on Australia as well as Canada just because they have the most similar credit file to us in terms of interchange fees and in terms of credit card benefits. Like we mentioned in the UK, they have a very different system and their cards aren't as competitive due to the fact that they don't make as much money there. Given all of this, I think a very obvious one is going to be double points for the Platinum card as well as Centurion card. I don't think this is too hot of a take, and I think it's something that makes a lot of sense given the fact that it doesn't really cost them that much more and they want to keep this group happy. The other obvious one to me is going to be double statement credits, so doubling the value of the cash out rate. Right now it's 0.6 cents per point. I can easily see them increasing that to 1.2 cents per point. The big question would be if they increase the cash out rate to the brokerage for Schwab from 1.25 to 2.5, so pretty good value at 2.5 cents per point. I personally don't see them doing that because I feel like that's a separate transaction and Schwab is probably the one paying the bill in order to get more money on their platform. I could be wrong here, and hopefully I am wrong because I think a 2.5 cents per point cash out rate is amazing, but it just feels like it's something on Schwab's end rather than something in the full control of American Express. There has to be a reason that the Schwab cash out rate is 1.25 while the Morgan Stanley one is only 1 cent per point. Wrapping up the video, if you are someone that wants 2 free stocks, I recommend checking out Webull. Pretty easy way to support the channel. My question for you guys is, what are your thoughts on these predictions and what do you think will happen? Do you think I'm wrong about the gold card? I'd very happily be wrong and I'd want double points. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. If you know anyone else who'd benefit from what we just talked about, share this with them. It'll probably help them out. But otherwise, hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.